So I'm just wondering how many of you have played Hype Bingo today or over the last few weeks? Hands up. Not too many. Yeah, this is why I'm telling my friend with whom we invented it that we need to do some marketing. So let's use the opportunity that I'm here, that I teach you this. So the game is about this. You need a piece of paper in front of you, and you need to put on the top of the page two magic things. One is Agile. Next to it, make sure to put digital transformation. Now, the next time when you participate on a sales pitch by a vendor or on a corporate presentation about the future of the company where you have to go, make sure you have a piece of pen. And when you hear these words, you can just cross them out. You know, digital transformation, done. Agile, done. When you have crossed out both of them, I give you the right to say, Hype Bingo. It might take you some time until you get to my record, which was happening last week, when speaking with a vendor, I managed to tell her on the first slide, you have a Hype Bingo, congratulations. Actually, the presentation was saying how your salespeople are going to die because of digital transformation, and she was an agile psychologist. You might hear from my tone that when it comes to agile transformation and digital transformation, I pretty much like what in MIT Sloan the guy said, that the word agility has entered the business lexicon like few other terms in recent memory. But you know what? I'm happy to go one beyond and agree with Adam Gale, who said that agility is becoming a meaningless buzzword. And in the same article, he says that most of it's on the same shelf with disruption, entrepreneurship, and the likes. And you might be saying, what the heck is going on stage? This guy is supposed to speak about agile transformation and digital transformation and the leadership aspect of that. Is this guy just trashing our beloved project, which we are just kicking off? Well, guys, let's be honest. I can do what I want on this stage because digital transformation, agile transformation, was never defined. I can do exactly what the consultants are doing with you when they come to your office and they present you the fantastic ING case. It's a brilliant white paper by McKinsey. Everybody should read it. And they will show you how McKinsey has managed to organize tribes and squads and chapters and all of that in 2016. So, dear Hungarian bank, you're gonna die. They have done this 2 years ago. And we are human beings. So what we do next? We love hacks. We love to skip the journey and just jump to the conclusion, oh my God, I need agile coaches. ASAP. I need tribes. I need squads. What the fuck they are, I don't care. I just need them. And they can do this with you, dear corporate leader, because you don't use Google and you don't try to figure out if ING did something before implementing agile methodologies. I have a great surprise for you. They did. They had a 5-year project which was called Less is More. It's a huge bank. What they did, they went through on their 2,000 processes and redesigned all of them with having 10 principles in mind, which you can find with 4 minutes Googling, but I'm giving it to you now. These are the 10 principles based on which a large Dutch bank reorganized all of their processes. So, dear banks, dear telco providers, before hiring agile coaches, can I ask you to stop and just check this list? And check this list compared to any of your processes. If you have even one process which guarantees that you will never ask me again about the data that you already have, my beloved bank, next time when I go in, don't ask me about my bank account number. You fucking gave it to me. You should know it. And don't go beyond the list. You know, 1-page paper should be the max that you are giving to your customers. So imagine this. They redesigned in 5 years all their processes, so they are matching these. And only after that, they started to speak about Agile, Scrum, Scrum Master, Product Owner, all the fancy titles. Yeah. So am I just saying that for ING, there was something before Agile methodologies? History did not start with Agile methodologies? Well, guys, that's what I'm just saying. And you know why? Because the same is true for Agile methodologies, right? Agile Manifesto, I love it, and we all know it was designed in 2001 in Snowbird in Utah by 17 fantastic people who came together and put on paper the manifesto. And as we all know the story, soon after, the 12 principles. The only thing that we never check, really, is what Jeff Sutherland, the co-founder of Scrum, tells us in a Harvard Business Review article, that these 17 fantastic people came together in Utah, and they were inspired by something. And that something is a book. The book was published 6 years before, in 1995. The book is summarizing 100 companies who are very adaptive, iterative, and I'm trying to find another word, but you know what? I'm just showing you the book. Hello? So, before the birth of Agile methodologies and manifesto, 6 years before, there was a book about corporate agility. That's where it started. So, if you are a corporate leader, you are wondering that I need Agile Manifesto, and then I need Scrum and Agile. Can I just ask you to go back to the source, and instead of implementing a fantastic software development methodology, could you just look at how the companies were agile? That will help you a lot. Now, when I get to this stage in my discussions with executives, the next thing that comes up, I could even call it the next pushback, is that, yeah, Robert, but it's easy for startups. Their people are agile. But my people, they are not agile at all. So I always take them on a journey. If you don't mind, I might take you too on that. How many of you have kids? Okay. The others, how many of you believes at one point in life you might have kids? Okay, so this makes pretty much everybody. So let me use this example that I'm using with them. Imagine this. Just lay back in your chair and imagine that today is a very special day. The 6th of December 2018 is the day when your little daughter is born. You might even want to put your hands like this. She's in your hands. Let's call her Anna. Anna is in your hands. And now try to close your eyes and try to tell me in true details how you would like her to be 20 years from now, in 2038, 6th of December, when she turns 20. Can you give me a full specification of Anna? How she is like? Is she obese? Is she lean? Does she have an elephant tattooed here or on her back? Is her hair natural or colored? Who can give me a detailed specification? Nobody. Oh, interesting. Let's choose something more concrete. Who wants Anna to be a drug addict in 20 years from now? Nobody. Okay, you could not give me a full specification on the full end result, but on one piece, we are on the same page. So, we know that we don't want the little Anna to be drug addict. So, who can give me a project plan for the coming 1,040 weeks for me, how to raise Anna? How to help her on the journey, how to handle her when she is finishing her 52nd week, the 520th, or what to do on week 741 when she comes home crying because the boyfriend broke up with her. Who can give me the detailed specs? Are you just telling me that I'm living my life in an agile manner Are you just telling me that the whole life is agile? And this is what I'm telling to all the corporate leaders. The fact that you don't have agile people is bullshit. Your brain is wired to be agile. There is no other way to live your life than being agile. You iterate, you learn, you adopt. That's what you do. So, when the discussion gets to this point, finally, we are on the same page. The secret of companies who are mentioned in Harvard Business Review as the companies leading the agile digital transformation, they are not leading because they have implemented agile methodologies in HR and sales, and they are not leading because they have more agile people than you do, because you have the same percentage, 100% of your people are agile. So, luckily, I was given more than 9 minutes by the organizers, so I don't leave you with this, and I just leave you to wonder, then what the heck is their secret? What I brought to you today is, with my fellow buddies, who are, all of them are somewhat transformational roles in various companies, when I got the opportunity to speak here in front of you, I said, guys, can we identify where the companies who are leading are different than the others? So what we found is that their secret, that they know how to transform themselves. Thank you, Robert. That's a great saying. Good that you came to share this with us. But what I brought you today is on this journey, what is common in these companies, they are taking care about a couple of things. And this is what I'm going to share with you today. So the first thing that they make sure is when they look into transformation, they want to emphasize the importance of having the people leading the transformation who have experience in transformation. Now, this experience in transformation can come from two directions. The first one, which is not rocket science, they usually have experience in professional transformation. So what they do, they live through or they suffer through, ideally they led large transformations in organization, and they have seen it happen. Now, this is not rocket science, so I don't want to bore you with that. I just want to share with you one story which might help you to avoid the mistake which I made a couple of years ago. So in my life, it's usually about sales transformation. So we always wanted to turn, in my previous company, we wanted to turn to become solution selling company instead of product selling company. So what we said, we love to hack the journey. We hired some salespeople and sales leaders from companies like Oracle and IBM who were ages ahead of us in solution selling. So these leaders came on board. We welcomed them. They were sharing their vision with us, how a solution selling company is organized. Then, after 3 months, we started to sense that they are kind of repeating what they said 3 months ago. After 6 months, they started to be upset and frustrated. And after a year, they started to leave us. And I made the same mistake in another company. So when we concluded this, we just figured out that we hired people from companies which were more mature than us. But we didn't ask the major question. Were you there when the transformation took place? And what we learned on the hard way is that they actually came from companies which were already there. They have no idea how to travel the road with us. So, corporate leaders, if you are hiring agile coaches, please make sure that they are coming from companies who went through the transformation from waterfall to agile. If they just went to a company which is already agile, they will not be good for you to lead your transformation. Now, this is one direction, but I promise you that there is a second one. The second one might be more shocking. It's about personal transformation. So what we figured out with my peers and buddies is that it's at least as essential to have personal experience in transformation as it is in corporate. Now, wait a sec. Is this guy on stage just saying that you should hire an alcoholist who is sober for 4 years to lead your agile transformation? Is this guy on stage just saying that if you were obese and now you are lean, then you know how to transform? Yes. That's what I'm saying. That's one of the messages I brought you today. And the reason why I can say that is that I consider myself to be a super lucky, privileged person because I have lived through corporate transformations. I have driven and I screwed up. And I have driven quite so many personal transformations, the last one of which seems to be well on track in the last 3 years. And what I want you to know is when I speak about personal transformation or corporate, I speak about exactly the same things. Because all of them are about changing the behavior of people. Now, is it about changing one behavior of Robert? Or is changing the behavior of multiple people? No huge difference, guys. And by the way, that's my little Anna in my hand 8 years ago. So, the main message is, you have to start the transformation with one person, and if you ask me, that one should be you. That's the easiest from all of them. Because there is one process which I hear quite so often because of my job, but I think it's well worked out, and they know exactly when they built it, and the process sounds like this. In case of emergency, please make sure to put on your own oxygen mask first before helping others. It's a good process. Give it a try. First, start on yourself. Now, let's speak a little bit about transformation and what these companies are doing. Obviously, what I will not cover today is all the process steps of Kotter and the others. What I wanted to bring you is purely focusing on those steps which we always screw up. That's what I will speak about. Whatever you do around change management, keep on doing it. But what I believe in is when we sat down with my guys and we said, okay, let's put together what the companies are always screwing up, we managed to distill it down to a few things. But to explain you those few things, I need you to understand, grasp one concept. And for that, you have to come with me on this journey. So how many of you have ever ridden an elephant? Quite a few, okay. Let's come something closer. Camel? Okay, getting closer. Horse? Awesome. Putting a shoe on a 3-year-old kid when she doesn't want to leave for kindergarten? It's all the same, okay? So, what he says, actually the book that I will refer to you is The Happiness Hypothesis by Jonathan Haidt. And it is not about change management, it's a fantastic book about something else. But what he does fantastically in this book, he puts there the symbol of the rider and the elephant. And he's symbolizing there the two parts of your mind. Every human being has two parts of the mind. Many psychologists have written it down so nicely. But I love his example because that's the closest to my heart, where he says, the elephant is the rational numbers, facts, arguments. You know this very well. And then the elephant is the unconscious or emotional. Now, what you see in transformation, let it be digital. By the way, if you ask me, we should stop using digital transformation. Everybody should just call it business transformation, because then we should realize it's not about technology, and it should not be led by IT. But that's a separate topic. So when we speak about business transformation, what I will do today is I would like to walk you through on the journey and how to influence both of them, the rider and the elephant, throughout the journey. So, starting the journey is the business as usual. But don't take me wrong, the business as usual does not mean that everything is nice, everything is green. No. If you work for a company like what I worked earlier for, it's quite normal that the road is full of bumps. The bump might be a new CRM implementation, the bump might be a reorganization of the org chart every 6 months, but that's business as usual. That's not a large change, we got used to it. Every year I get a new business card, and not because I'm working anywhere else, it's just the organization is changing. That's business as usual. Throughout this journey, I will bring you personal example and corporate. So ideally to both of them, or at least to one of them, you can relate to. Let's look at it. Business as usual, as I said, minor changes, let it be an org chart change, is there. Personal, summer is coming, I take out my short, and I just cannot button it up again. I will have to buy some new one. Again, not everything is green, but I got used to it. It's normal. That's what's happening. But then, something bigger is happening. Corporate example, we need to be agile. We need to implement agile methodologies. We need digital transformation. We need to implement the new CRM. Whatever. You know these messages much better than I do. Personal, Robert, you are 35, you are obese, you have a high cholesterol, you have a high blood pressure, and there's a significant chance that you will have a heart attack, just like your father, around the age of 45. Who believes that digital transformation, or the message I got from my doctor, is strong enough and something will happen? Hands up. Okay, there are a few optimistic people. I love you, that's great. The situation is that in 99% of the cases, nothing will happen, okay? Everything stays the same. The elephant goes on the normal route together with the rider. Then they come back, and then they just figure out, yeah, nothing happened. So what happens? The company starts to throw in those magic buzzwords. With the hype bingo, you manage to hit the hype in like 4 minutes. Agile, Scrum, whatsoever. The company looks around, shit, nothing is happening. So what's next? They start to send bigger messages. We're going to die if we don't transform. We will have to change everything, the org chart, the bonus scheme. Everybody will have to take part in an agile training tomorrow. Now, here is my problem with the big negative messages. There was a clinical study which was checking a negative message and how people react to it on a little bit longer term. So the negative message sounds like this. Robert, you just had your first heart attack. There is a significant chance that you are going to have a second one. The second one might, well, kill you. To avoid that, you should do some changes, and beside that, take this pill. Every morning and evening, one of these. Clear? Clear. So the research followed 59,000 people over a period of time of 2 years to double check how much they followed up on taking the pill in the morning and in the evening. So who of you believes that 6 months after the heart attack, more than 90% of the people were still taking the pill, one in the morning and one in the evening? More than 90%? Who believes? Optimistic people, still love you. After 6 months, it's 59%. After 2 years, it's 42%. So the message is, Robert, this might kill you. Now let me try on you a couple of digital transformation messages, okay? AI will take your job in 5 years. Who believes this has a longer lasting? Nobody. Okay. Robots will take your job. Nobody. Interesting. Can I ask you to go back to your companies and to your executives and explain them to stop the big negative messages about digital transformation? That's my first hint when it comes to the rider. Now, once we get to here with some of the corporate leaders, then comes my second favorite topic. I asked the corporate leaders, what do you think, why your people are not changing? Yeah, because they are too long with the company, they are just left in their comfort zone, they don't want to be kicked out. But at the end, when I'm asking them the second why, then they come to the conclusion, yeah, it's because of the lack of willpower. That's why people cannot lose kilos, that's why they cannot stop smoking, and that's why I cannot change my organization. These people just lack willpower. They are not strong enough to leave their comfort zone. And willpower is my favorite one. So there is the famous Marshmallow experiment. How many of you have heard about it in the 1960s, done with kids? For the others, just a quick recap. In the 1960s on Stanford, they invited kids, 4 to 6 years old kids, to participate in an experiment. To simplify it, they were offered some sweets. Marshmallow was one of the options. And they were told that the researcher might need to leave the room, but when they come back, you have just one marshmallow now. If I come back and if you still have it, then you will get a second one. Now, a little percent, quite a not significant percent of kids, actually, just before the researcher left the room, they just took it. That's like my little daughter. 1/3 of the kids were able to wait for 15 minutes until the researcher came back and got the second one. And 2/3 of the kids were not able to wait for 15 minutes. They ate it somewhere along the way. Now, this research was helping me to explain why I'm 127 kilos. I just don't have willpower. You know that research. I mean, already at the age of, 4 to 6, that's what they are doing. You know, I'm born like that. I need my brownie and ice cream at 10 p.m. That's why. Imagine this. This research was repeated in 2012 by White Smarts, and they achieved a significant boost in the willpower of the kids. Who wants to know how they did it? Awesome. So, I can give you, the others who don't want to know, just close your ears in the next 4 seconds, because the others will get from me a willpower boost training, okay? This is the willpower boost training. Next time, when you feel that you would like to eat that marshmallow, you might want to close your eyes and think about a tale that your mother was telling you the other day. If you still feel that you would like to eat that marshmallow, you might want to turn around and just don't look at it. You can stand up, walk around the room. You can play with whatever you want with. Just don't think about the marshmallow and don't look at it. They achieved, with this 4-second willpower boost training, a 50% increase in the willpower of the kids. So what the heck is willpower? The real takeaway for me in this is what the researchers did. They just scripted the critical steps for the kids, what to do when they feel the elephant is taking over. And that's what you should be doing. When you want to speak to your rider, you should be careful about the tone of the message, stop sending big and negative messages. Now, once you are there, the second thing where you have to help the rider is to script the critical steps, what to do when the elephant is taking over. Because the elephant will take over. Now, let's speak a little bit about the elephant. So, you are in very comfortable chairs. You are laid back, mainly you guys, because you want to see the slides, so you have to do that. Imagine this. Now we are riding an elephant. Okay? You are sitting on the elephant. 3 meters high. You feel how the elephant goes. It's a 4-ton animal under you, bigger than you, heavier than you. Could do what she wants with you, and you could not do anything about it. You are sitting there, you are on the road, and now I ask you, because you are the rider, to stop the elephant and turn it to the right when she wants to go to the left. What are your feelings? Do you feel in control now? Are you secure? Hell not. And that's what this whole topic is about when it comes to the elephant. The first thing you have to understand about the elephant doesn't care, and I was very politically correct there, about numbers. Please stop chasing your bloody numbers, okay? If you ask me, Robert, how the heck could you grow to be 127 kilos by the age of 31? My answer is super simple. I started dieting when I was 100. I was just chasing the number. And if you chase the number, the rider will be able to direct the elephant on a short term towards the number. As soon as you hit the number, the elephant will whoosh, rush back to the old route. So the first thing I want you to remember is that when you speak to the elephant, you want to make sure that you have to speak to the heart of the elephant. And here is one thing. If you start an agile transformation, a digital transformation, whatever transformation, and you cannot tell me a short pitch about your transformation that speaks to my heart, then you are screwed, my friend. Go back to the drawing board. Let's start figuring out what is in it for your people and what is in it for them that they can turn their elephant. Because one thing you want to understand here is there is a misconcept. The rider is not the boss, and the elephant are not the employees. Each and every individual in your organization has a rider and has an elephant, and you have to be able to speak to the heart of the elephant. And you have to help the rider to be able to speak to the heart. Otherwise, you are screwed, my friend. Now, the second thing that you want to be very careful about is as soon as you manage to speak to the heart, you will not believe it. The elephant starts to listen to you. And this is risky. When the elephant starts to listen to you, and you start to shout again the stupid things about we must turn agile within 12 months whatsoever, you are screwing up the whole thing. The elephant can be freaked out from tiny little small things too. So when you think about the elephant, make sure that you remember this. You have to shrink the change so that the elephant can grasp it. If you ask the elephant to make 2 big changes at a time, the elephant will not do anything. You will just stay there. And the reason for that is very simple, because we hate uncertainty. And if you challenge me, you like uncertainty, I can just give you an example. Every time when you go on a conference, like this morning, have you realized how you gravitate towards people who you vaguely know? Have you realized that this is the only time when you go there and say hello to the guy from the call center who you always saw in the canteen? But now you come in here, you don't know anybody, and you immediately gravitate towards the ugly guy from the call center. We just hate uncertainty. Remember these when it comes to the elephant. There are tons of more points, but this is where almost everybody screws it up. And now I left my favorite one to be the last one, because I believe that you have to redesign the environment. But unfortunately, your organization typically starts the transformation here. You start to change the environment, you start to change the org chart. What is the first one? Oh, we have to implement a new CRM. We have to change the bonus scheme. And that will change everything, so the people will have to change. Because, we just changed it, and now it's much better for them. I agree, changing the environment is super important. But it doesn't equal to implementing a bloody CRM or changing the org chart. What you should look at, and here let me refer back to the original ING story, not the one that the consultant is telling you about. They changed the environment, redesigned all their internal processes, then they figured out what is stopping their people to go on the new way. Did not start with the CRM replacement. You must change the environment. It's very important. Again, personal example. When I wanted to go on this route, I had to remove brownies from my kitchen, I have to tell you. You have to change the environment if you want to achieve sustainable change. When I am asked just to summarize the key points, I could go like 25 points. I just wanted to bring you the ones which we always screw up. And I just wanted to emphasize those. And if you think about this journey throughout the way, I think you have been there multiple times. As I was chatting with you today, many of you are again on this route with Agile transformation. What we never do, we always try to focus on the things that we can, just tick the box. Agile, everybody trained. Do we have an Agile coach? Oh, we don't. Okay, let's hire one from Ericsson. They have so good people. But this is not what you should be doing, guys. What I'm telling you is that you who are working in these organizations, I just ask you to relax. The only thing that you should be doing in your workplace is just be you, to be adaptive. I'm trying to avoid using the word agile. Be adaptive, be open to change, and iterate and learn, just like you do in your whole life. Just bring it to the office. That's the only thing you should be doing. Now, when it comes to companies, please don't try to hack the bloody journey. The journey is the transformation. Don't copy the ING steps. Don't copy the Spotify model. Don't copy the Philips business transformation model. Don't copy Robert's steps, how he lost 40 kilos. It's my journey. You have to go through the journey. That is called transformation. Implementing tribes and squads, just like ING, that's not called transformation. That's called copycat. Stop that. You have to learn to enjoy the journey. And why this is important and why when I always come back to this point with all the friends and corporate people who I speak with, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of the journey. And when somebody challenges me, I say that, you know what, there are so many examples who inspire me about being on the track, being on the journey and enjoying it. But there is one great example I want to share with you. So who in the room would believe that the best way to win an Oscar award is Oscar award in like 20 years from now is to establish a postal rental company today? Who believes that's the best way to get an Oscar in 20 years? Nobody. Interesting. I have a good example. There are two nice gentlemen who set up a company in 1999, Mark and Reed. In 1999, we didn't call it a startup, but it was a startup because DVDs were introduced to North America in March, and they established the company in August. And the company was about sending DVDs for rental and sales over the post. Now, a couple of years later, they started to see that DVDs are somewhat declining in the States. So they decided that they need some other form of getting the content to the end user than postal and DVDs. So in 2008, they started a streaming service. And by now, many of you know, I speak about Netflix. In 2008, they started their broadcasting service, their streaming service in the States. A couple of years later, they were active in a handful of other countries. By now, they are present in 190. But somewhere around 2012-ish, they figured out it would be fantastic to own some of the content which we are streaming, and that's how House of Cards was born in 2013. Now, who of you would believe that in 2018, they won the first Oscar award? They just did in the documentary category. And why I love their example, who the heck would tell me, Robert, they had a moonshot in 1999, that they want an Oscar award? Now, when they started to do streaming in 2008, they had their 10 years moonshot, as they are educating now in Silicon Valley that you should have a 10 years moonshot ahead, and then just be agile and just steer towards that. I promise you, they did not have a moonshot of having an Oscar. What they just figured out is that if you really travel the journey, then this journey is the only way to figure out the destination. If you try to hack the journey, you are missing the point. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Thanks,
Thank you. Let's tackle a question from here. At least one, yeah?
Yeah.
Because I really like the first one. I want to know that. What was your breaking point? When do you know you need a transformation, personal or professional?
Okay. Let me start with the personal. So I told you that it's not a good idea to chase numbers, which I did. And then, yes, I was 35 when I got the message, you know, high cholesterol, obese, everything. It was not the turning point to figure out I need a transformation. The transformation came when, like 3 years ago, something started to speak to my heart, and I didn't chase the number anymore, and I will share with you. The thing that spoke to my heart was that my second daughter was born, Lisa, and I just figured out that if I follow the pattern of my parents, and I will have a heart attack, and I will die at the age of 62, I will not be able to play with my grandkids. So what touched my heart, and what started to turn my elephant, my drive became, I want to live a healthy, long life, full stop. So it was not anymore about diet, turning vegan. It was about figuring out how I can live long and healthy. That was it. Corporate example. Corporate side, it's quite easy. I think when you figure out that you need a vision, you want to know where your customers are going, where the need that you are serving today, where it is going to be 3, 5, 10 years from now, you have to guess it. And when you guess it, you have to see if you can still serve that need. And if not, then you have to adjust. If it's a minor adjustment, most probably you can do it as business as usual. When you figure out that you need to change processes, business models, structures, processes, tools, people, data, then most of it's a transformation. And then you have to turn everything upside down.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
as a token of our appreciation, please accept the stretch cup from us.
Thank you.
Thank you.